Okay, Chase, so here is our lesson the other day. Wanted to put up a side-by-side of an older clip that I had of you when I think I first saw you, or it was sometime back in February, early February, when we started 5 lessons or so. But this should be very encouraging to you because I know you don't think that you've been making changes, but you obviously have um, incorporated some of the things that we've been talking about, and it looks like you're able to internalize it. So it's showing here in in your movements. So here's what I want to show you. Um, so we get you out here to, this is where your leg drive begins, okay? So let me get you out to leg drive here. I'm going to start here at the end, and then I'll work backwards. So take a look at your leg drive here in the first video on the left. Okay, your foot touches down there. And let me just get my arrows up here. Take a look at your back foot because this is critical. See how your back foot is almost completely up against the rubber. You have a little bit of a heel lift, which means that you started to drive your back leg so late. It was almost like you really didn't. You just kind of turned the back knee over. See how your back knee just kind of turns over, but there's no real extension there at all. So you don't get near triple extension. You don't even really get 2x, which is double extension. I don't even really see your ankle kicking at all. So now let's take a look at the right video that we did yesterday. Take a look at when you touch down there. I look at the difference in your foot. Look at how far your heel is off the rubber here. So that's an indication of ankle extension and knee extension. Take a look at your back knee. Back knee is extended. So because you can see that visually right here, you know now that you've interacted with the ground more. So you're using a lot more ground forces, and those ground forces are now kicking up through the hip, and you don't get triple extension completely yet because the hip hasn't been turned all the way. I mean, ideally you want that hip to be there and the foot to be there when you touch down. And then when you touch down, the back hip will brace up and will slam the hips completely open. So there's a good improvement there in leg power. So you are generating more forces, and that, of course, goes into more ball velocity. I'm just doing a little analysis here, so I'll be done in a second. So that's a great improvement there, back leg drive, and that's what we're talking about, right? Back leg power, stride power. So good improvement there. So let's back you up a little bit. Let's go, oops, what's going on here? Let's take you back to here. And I know we also talked a lot about your trunk lean. You still have a little bit of a trunk lean, but it's not a bad thing for you because you are able to rectify that at the end. But look at the difference. I mean, in the video here, before you even begin leg drive, your chin is way out over your feet. Over here, you've made some of improvement. It's more over your knees than it is over your feet. So again, the more vertically you stay with your trunk, the easier it is to triple extend because you don't have so much weight on your hips. So there's another improvement. Let's back you up a little bit more. Let's back you up to, well, let's back you up here to where we start. I don't think there's much of an improvement as far as your early momentum, and that's going to come in time. I know you don't want me to talk too much about that because it's uncomfortable for you to feel that position right now, feel that movement. But remember, if you're throwing 75 now, the key to throwing harder is to move the mass of the body faster down the mound so you can brace up that front leg and use that the front foot to absorb those forces from the ground. So the early momentum shift is important, and that's a very athletic thing to do. It doesn't come easy, especially if you're so used to posting up. So don't change any of this now, but I just want to show you. When your knee comes down, this is where we want to see that the body is shifted inside that drive line, and it's still just posted up. But not to worry about that at this point because there's so many good things about your delivery right now. Now, as you drive down, I want to show you at front foot plant again. So let me get you to front foot plant over here. Okay, so look at the difference here in your arm as well. Your elbow is lower than it is here. The ball is lower than it is here. Okay, so your elbow is now more at a position where you're going to be able to get that elbow up when you release the ball into that good elbow slot, which is way above the ear, or at least at the ear level. Here, your elbow is down lower, the ball is lower, so watch what happens when you come through. Look at where your elbow is in relation to your ear, and look at where your elbow is here in relation to your ear. Huge difference. And look at the arm layback. This is the arm layback. I think you probably remember this. That's full external rotation. Here you're not at full external rotation. So you've got more force going to the arm, which means more velocity. Okay, you're applying more velocity to the ball because the arm is laid back, so now it has more distance to travel, and it will travel at a faster rate because you've pushed forces there faster. So another big improvement. That's an awesome arm length. We're not going to mess around with any of that as you continue here. All right, let's just do one more thing. So you see how you cast out over here? You see how your elbow's out in front of your face? Here your elbow's not out in front of your face at all. Look at how high the elbow gets. It's in line with the face, and then you pronate really nicely. That's when the hand turns over, and that releases a ton of stress. It's something called a valgus load on the elbow. And when you pronate quickly after ball release, that takes a lot of pain and stress off the elbow. So you do that really well here, but not as well here, and that's because you don't have the quick internal rotation because you just didn't have the forces there in this video at the first time we actually met. So big improvements, right? And you thought you weren't improving, so there you go. You've already probably increased velocity, you have a better leg drive, you have quicker internal rotation of the arm. When you get here, let's just take a look real quick. When you're at full external rotation in both videos, I didn't look at this yet, but look at the difference here in your trunk flexion. That's how your trunk comes out. See that? Which means you're going to whip that arm through faster because the trunk is going to move faster. So your release point is here, and this is probably why you're just a little bit high with some of your pitches. You're not off that much, Chase. But when you are throwing, with the velocity you're at and you're driving harder with the back leg, if you don't brace up that front leg quick enough, your release point is going to be a little bit behind the front foot, where we want that hand to kind of release here and not back here. Okay, so let's see what happens here in this video. So here's full external rotation. Chest is out, but not nearly as much. Okay, the front leg looks pretty much the same, but I think in this video here to the left, hips kind of never really locked down. Okay, so your release point is out here. You don't get the elbow up as high soon enough. It is higher than it was earlier, but not in that good arm slot that it is here on the right side. So you see how your hand is out in front of your face a little bit more? That's kind of where we want that release point for here. And that'll get there when you brace up that front leg a little better. Here you were moving a lot slower, and you weren't bracing up. So the body just kind of drifted out instead of just exploding forward. Here you're exploding more. You brace up better. Your hips are moving faster. You just, at this point here, Chase, this is where we want to brace up. When you get into external rotation right about here, this is where we want to see the knee really start to kick back and extend to really catapult that chest up. So there's some things that you can work on here, obviously, but remember, if you're throwing 75, let's say hypothetically you're throwing 75, which you probably are, you're probably pretty close to there. If you wanted to throw 85 and really become more of an explosive, powerful, athletic pitcher, you would have to be willing to make some of those changes later on in the future where you're not worried so much about throwing strikes, but you're worried about becoming a power pitcher and a power athlete. So, with that said, that's not a criticism, it's just happening with your body right now. I mean, if I were to ask you to run a 60-yard dash in under 7 seconds and you were sprinting your butt off, and you said, Coach, I just can't get there. And I said, well, you're not running hard enough. Well, that wouldn't be true on my part. You are running hard enough. Your muscles just aren't trained to react explosively enough to push you that fast. Or if you were to jump high, I mean, if you can only jump 2 feet off the ground, and I'm asking you to jump 3 feet, you won't be able to jump 3 feet unless you're powerful enough. So with the program, we're going to make you a powerful athlete off the mound, and then we're going to be able to convert that to the mound. So the inability to brace up right there is not it's not something that you're doing badly. It's just something that you just can't do right now at this point because you just don't have the muscle power to be able to handle that back leg drive kicking into the front leg. But once you do, and from here, when that leg starts to extend backwards, you're going to feel that catapult effect, boom, and that's really going to improve your velocity. So for right now, you're doing great. I mean, everything is great. We're not going to change anything with you. Just get you more powerful and strong. All right, so there's some good improvements. That should be very encouraging to you. And I hope you continue to work out. Make sure you work out those abs, okay? If you need any ab routines, make sure you see me, talk to me, stop by the house if you want. I don't care. All right, I'll put this up on my website.